Hello again. Today I'm speaking with Garath Craythorne, MD at Manor and Aylesbury Books, on his decision to replace the company's HP Latex FB500 with a HP Latex R1000 Plus. So hello there, Garath.
Hi, how are you? You right?
I'm fine, thank you. Might as well get straight into it. When did you actually first make the switch to the new machine, and what was the reasoning for that?
Okay, so we actually made the switch in November last year. The machine was delivered in December. We were ready for an upgrade. I think the old Cytex had its miles, done its mileage, so it was on the end of its sort of lifespan. And we were looking at an alternative machine to kind of, to progress what we do, production wise. And I started to read a bit more into the latex and the technology behind that, and obviously the fact that it's a much cleaner ink. And knew that obviously there'd been some improvements since the latex originated, come to the forefront of the technology, and certainly on the flatbed side. And saw the machine in action from one of my suppliers' customers, and thought, do you know what? It's a great machine. It printed absolutely perfectly, and so it was a no-brainer, really.
Brilliant. Now, I know at one time you had 3 or 4 Solvent and UV printers.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
And now you've got the 2 latex machine, the R1000 Plus. And is it a latex 330 you've got as well?
It's 330.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you manage that changeover in technologies then, sort of internally and with your customers?
To be honest, it was pretty seamless. I mean, I know that obviously they're completely different technologies in terms of ink. From the solvents on the roll-to-roll was barely noticeable. It was just about sort of adapting, any sort of curing times. Obviously, the curing times are so much quicker. So it was really, really minimal. The only difference really is where we talk about the flatbed side of things for the R1000 is the quality of the print is quite a bit better than the UV. And obviously ours was a slightly older model. So it was a win-win, really. And it was a lot of our client base don't even realise the difference apart from the better quality that we seem to be printing at the moment. So, yeah.
Yeah. Talking about your customer base, I mean, how important are the eco-credentials of the latex machine, to your customers? Is that sort of a big deal for them?
I wouldn't say it is at the moment, but it's something we're certainly going to investigate. I mean, obviously it has a knock-on effect, and obviously looking at how the times are changing, and obviously people becoming much more aware of what they're producing and how they're producing it, and the technologies and the environment that has an impact on that. We all obviously know that this is quite an impactful. This is quite an impactful sort of business, really. Signage, you use a lot of materials that sort of use a lot of fossil fuels to produce them, and so on and so forth. So anything we can do, we feel is going to be better longer term. And we're just starting to touch on that with our clients, and the feedback has been really good. So it's not something we've really truly focused on as a priority, but we're starting to see the knock-on effect of just letting people know that this is the technology we're working to. This obviously has a much greener credential, and we're looking at greener materials to complement that production.
So another benefit, effectively, yeah.
So rather than just we're doing this with materials that are still quite damaging to the environment, and how they're produced. Yeah. But it doesn't matter. We've got a lovely clean ink, but we're looking now at some of the products that we use to complement it, so the package becomes much more greener. So it's something we're working towards. It's a slow process, but hopefully in the next year or so we'll be that's going to be a priority for our production side of things.
I mean, it's going to be an ongoing issue, isn't it?
It really is.
Yeah.
Really.
In regards to the latex ink, actually on the latex R1000 Plus, I mean, how significant is its the colours range that it offers, including the white? Is that an important decision from your perspective?
Okay, so initially it wasn't. It was only when I started to see the printer in action, when we were looking at it more, that I realised how good this new machine prints. I mean, the white is so strong. You've got so many variables. I mean, how you can sort of undercoat, overcoat, put it in between layers. So you can get up to 5 layers on this process. So, you can always do sort of different imagery in between with a white layer, a blockout black layer, then another layer, then your face. So the options are so much more open to it that really, again, it's something we're not really pushing at the moment. But again, long term, I'll be focusing on that much more, because the white is, I really can't. I can't speak highly enough of it. It's great.
Yeah. You mentioned to me when we were talking earlier that it was important that the new machine also fit into your existing workflow, Gareth. Can you tell us a little bit about that, perhaps?
Yeah, I mean, it was essentially, although it's a completely different ink system to the Cytex, with the Cytex being UV, it really fitted in quite easily. It's a slightly larger machine, so the footprint is slightly bigger, but again, we had the space to accommodate it, so that was no issue as well. And we've, some of the composites that we have to print, that we print to, we've adjusted those to accommodate that they're more sort of latex friendly. But apart from that, everything else prints absolutely fine. So it really was essentially just a shoeing, and away we go. It was that.
Yeah. So where do you think you stand now in terms of the latex learning curve? I mean, are there lessons that you've definitely learned so far, or is it a case of, it's little by little, Yeah,
a little by little, but we've certainly learned a lot in the last it's only been operational for a couple of months. So we're still finding it, and we sort of tentatively sort of thrown it in the deep end a little bit, but, we're learning more about, the curing times. There tends to be some grey areas regarding that. And, we've learned very quickly how to overcome those. I mean, to be honest, it's in a lot of ways it's very similar to the UV style of printing, and you have to handle it the same way. But the speed, the quality, just is quite highly. Well, I mean, I'd say it's 100% better. I mean,
you sound quite impressed. I mean, I'm presuming you think you've made the right investment at the right time.
Yeah, absolutely. It was if I'm honest, if I probably should have made it a year earlier, but it's a great machine, and
there was a lot going on.
Yeah. It would have been a perfect time, because then we would have slowly been able to feed our way into it. But I mean, it's a year late, but I think, again, absolutely no doubt in my mind it's the right decision. It's a good machine.
Brilliant. Oh, well, look, he's wishing you all of the best for the future, then I'm sure you'll get a lot out of it.
Hopefully, yeah, fingers crossed.
Thanks a lot, Gareth. I appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye for now.
Bye-bye then.